need to fire some people.
Train.
It may need to get rid of some people. So what is best for the movement? The simple. So if we remove the names, remove the name Andrew Kibe from there and say,
we don't know what is. We've come to a never wanted the presidency. Probably he's wanted power without responsibility. So when you're fighting Baba's fight, na ukufe kwa street, then you don't know what you're fighting for, and that's what I'm talking about right now. You must understand someone's mission for you to jump on that train. I am struggling with the
emotional aspect of it. So let's be emotional about it, that you have to completely have given yourself to the movement for you to be effective. No, we're talking about managers here, Mariam. You get the best manager for the job. Some managers, you don't even have to like them. You just know they're good managers. So this is management 101. Take away the word leadership. Because your word leadership in our Changanya, mnaanza kuchukia wase. That's why when somebody comes in, because you know some of these people are good, just that you don't like them. Personally, you don't like them. Because this guy did something that you don't like, or he said something that you don't like. But you know when it comes to management, the guy's going to do an awesome job. So maybe remove the word leader, because leader has to be somebody who is liked, somebody who everybody agrees with. But that's not necessarily what we're talking about here. We're talking about what is best for the movement. The movement sometimes might need to fire some people. It may need to get rid of some people. So what is best for the movement? The simple. So if we remove the names, remove the name Andrew Kibe from there and say Andrew Kibe does not need to even understand the movement, but what is best for the movement? It needs strength, people who can be able, at least honesty, people who are not afraid to say the truth, people who are not afraid to go against the grain. That's why even when I brought up this show last week, I insisted that someone like Francis Gaido should be there, because we need voices that are unafraid to go against whatever it is that the leadership is saying. So it's very wide, Mariam. It's not just that now we have to understand what the Gen Zs are fighting for. No, the ideology has been put out there. It is time to fight for what is right. So what is right is what is right, whether it's here or it's in Moyale. When the Gen Z say they want accountability, accountability is accountability. It doesn't matter where you go. Good governance is good governance. So you don't need to even know who came up with this idea, as long as you just look up the definition of good governance. Mariam.
Tadina.
Yeah, sounds very nice when you say it. All right, who is this? Femi, just go ahead. I think to hear Mariam say that is interesting. Go ahead, Femi.
I think the point people are not getting here is that you are not the leadership. You are the spokesman of the group. Is that what you are saying? You want somewhere people can formulate their ideology and you be able to watch it and implement it. Is that what I'm getting from your vibe? That is what I'm getting from your vibe. Is that true?
How would I break it down in a better way? Like a hub, you know? You know, like when you see talented, yeah, when you see talented individuals, their talent is good as long as that talent can be nurtured. So for me, I'm looking at it from that point of, hey, listen, you guys can come and we can make this thing work together. I will not be the leader who goes there in front of the people and tells them this, but you we can build you into that person that you want to be. So for me, I'm looking at it from a wider range, a wider angle of it.
Yeah, that is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I'm getting what you're saying. That is what I think from the point where you said, like, from this platform, you are the spokesman of the group. That means even if you move forward, you still keep being the spokesman of the movement. And that is why I think you're inviting other people to come down and sit and formulating the best way forward. I think that is the vibe I'm getting from what you are saying. And that is why I asked from the word go. You as the person will be chosen as the person to lead the group, not as in per se the leader of the movement, the lead the group for the movement, till we get to where the destination the movement want. Then from there, they have the power to go to the ballot and make their own leaders. Is that not what we are here for?
100%. Because if you don't get your own people in the government, then who are you talking to? You have to have people who are directly answerable to you. So when you say this is the movement, then the movement has to have its own in there. You've seen what Malema has done. You've seen what I've done. That's where you get the people to now, so that there can be real meaningful change. Lakini hii change ya kuambiwa saa hii juzi mulisikia mkiambiwa the youth will be given a youth ministry. What is that? Youth ministry ya nini? If the youth are 70% of the population, how are they being given just one ministry? They should be deciding how many ministries are going to be there in the government. They should be deciding how many ambassadors we want around the world. You need a real seat at the table where you make real decisions, not to be given piecemeal at here. We're going to have a forum for 150 people and then 50 will be youth. Who told you we want that? So yes, Femi, that's where we're going. Okay, now hold on, Femi. Let me go to Tom Boy.
Let me say something before you go. Okay.
All right.
Femi.
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
You see, Femi.
Yeah.
Femi. What I'm trying to put out across ni kwamba it's not KIBE or individual that has to give us his idea about what has to happen. It's not about the position. Will KIBE do what the movement wants him to do? Unwavering. Do you see the difference? We need a leader there that will do what the movement says at that particular time when the movement thinks that's what the right thing to do. Now, what KIBE is part of a leadership. KIBE ni kama mat. Inakusaidia kufika pale unafaa kufika. Unanipata? If anyone out there anajaribu kwenda astray, anarudishwa back in line.
Samuel.
Femi, niambie.
Me, I'm with KIBE. The lines, the assimilation, whatever he wants to say, I understand where he's coming from. The point that I was trying to bring forward for Miriam to understand is this. KIBE is not going to be the end leader of the generation. KIBE is trying to help the generation to implement their idea. I think that is where people are not getting.
He's a driving force.
He's the driving force, but
he's a driving force.
Yes.
He's part of the driving force. Remember, in position, in leadership, there are different positions. Now, there's an ultimate leader. There's different leadership. Unajua sasa pia kitu kingine tunafaa kuwa hapa ni kukuwa legit. Unaona? Ni kukuwa legit. Kusema, do we really need things? Do we need shit to get done? If you really need that, then you'll get utahitaji the right tools for the right job. Okay? Now, putting this movement iendelee kukua, even past KIBE, and that's what KIBE analyzed at this point. Let's talk KIBE. And I want everybody akiongea opinion yake. Remember this space value each and everyone's opinion hapa. Now, at the moment, pia wewe Femi unamalizia kusema point yako. If it's not KIBE, it's rather say, my opinion, naona inaweza kuwa this particular else. And let's start arguing about the position of leadership and not about leadership at all. Mina argue about this leadership kusema, if KIBE anakuwa part of the leadership, this is the position I want KIBE to be in that part of the leadership. This is the position on KIBE anakuwa very effective. Is the driving force, is the energy, is a part of the machinery in the system inafaa kuwa nayo kusema, okay, now these things has to be kept straight. Remember, si kila mtu atafuata everything else. Watu wengine wanataka kukuwa part of it, but not really get down in the mud. Unaona? Spendi KIBE, but you haven't told us. This is not a movement ya kusema ati Femi ati I'm not for this. Why don't you say what you're actually for? If you're not for this, then you for something else, right? So if you're not for KIBE, perhaps you're for something else, but not having somebody at all. Sasa hiyo ni mbaya. Ushisikia empire gani haina king? Kulikuwa na empire come on nani.
Samuel,
So tunataka kuweka hii kitu straight vile
Samuel,
nimesema. It's not straight. Yeah.
let me put it straight.
Mimi na jump bar sana.
Let me put it
Yeah.
straight. I support KIBE being the driver. Is that straight enough?
Part of okay.
I support KIBE being the
That's
driver.
very straight enough.
And him being the driver,
Yes.
the first thing I'll suggest KIBE is akusanya kila mtu who the Gen Z believe that is doing something towards their move. Let them have a talk. Whatever they agree on next, we are on board with them. That is my opinion.
There you go. There you go. Ni kama mat inakufikisha tao au unazidi pali unaenda. Mat inarudi skodi yake. Skodi hii itaisha hapa. Skodi ni kusema if the movement itaendelea kuwa strong. Hivyo I agree with you one. Are you actually for the leadership ama una leader atondo kwa maana una utaki kuwa part of the leadership ama uko na animosity about somebody else? Remember feelings don't really matter when facts come to be. Now sometimes feelings za watu zina oversee which is okay. Na tension ziko high, pressure imejaa. All of a sudden feelings zina overweigh facts zenye mtu anaona. Ana feel vile vitu zili happen prior. And that should not be the way, because hii kiingia sasa tunakuwa tu mafala. Hatuwezi kuwa mafala kila siku mazee. Tuko na movement ya kutu keep up straight. If you don't like KIBE, remember KIBE hakui leader wa Gen Z. Na hivyo ndo jamaa wanafikiria. KIBE is not a leader of Gen Z. KIBE ni part of the leadership yenye mimi na endorse. Anyone else can endorse anyone else. Hey, if you can endorse yourself as well. Just so you know. Anyone else. Ndio tuanze kusema okay, then what role would play in the part of the leadership? So tuanze kuongelea that leadership more of it, because the less talking about it, we are backstepping ourselves. Tunarudi tu nyuma. All of a sudden mpaka 2027 wanaweza postpone hata hiyo election. Who knows? Mimi nakaa mnaona ni jokes.
Wewe sawa
na agree na time frame.
Samuel hold up. Acha tusikie watu wengine. Tom Boya, don't let these people bully you into not giving your submission. Femi and Samuel are very bullish.
Thank you, KIBE. Thank you, KIBE, for the opportunity, and I greet you Kenyans in the name of your ancestors. Well, I just requested to be able to paint a picture of what KIBE is talking about. I first pray that I be able to organize my communication here very well. First, I start by saying that KIBE said that, in my words now, that you can have leaders, but if the leadership is not organized, you are going nowhere. He said it that you can have a vision, but if you don't have a proper way of implementing it, the vision is useless. Now I'm also saying you can be organized even if you don't have leadership, but you can achieve something. So I remember I've been able to hear many people talk, and my worry has always been, why do we say all perfect things? We speak masterpiece, but out of it, we have no direction. I think it is true and that we should remain leaderless, partyless, and all sorts of lesses, including fearless. But at the end of the day, we need to be organized. How can we have this done? It is evident that kila mtu amekuwa akifanya what they are good at, and we've been achieving milestones. But still, the more we get killed, the more fear is being instilled onto us. How can we organize ourselves so that whatever you are good at, which I call a handbook. Hello? Well, I wrote something which I call a handbook, something that can direct us on what can we do, so that at the end of the day, we achieve something. I remember KIBE, if you never listen to KIBE, the likes of KIBE, the likes of Okia Omtata, the likes of Boniface Mwangi, and many people have always been consistent speaking about these things, even before the Gen Z took the mantle to take it to a higher level. So how can we be able to help these people and ourselves who are now out to take a direction that will at the end of the day celebrate? I was able to write a handbook that would probably guide us. And what my suggestion, which I mean is also what KIBE is suggesting, is that as part of being organized, saying that we should be organic, yes, and we should have different people doing different things. We can have people brought on board, and this assignment, I'm really giving it to KIBE, hoping that I'll be able to get his WhatsApp number and share the handbook. Ndio aone kumbe kitu anafikiria is already put down on paper. You can look at for different people so that we can have what we call a working group. I call it Kenya, because you are going out of your way passionately to do something towards achieving good governance. We can have a coordination group, which KIBE can be part of that. We can have people who are strategic planning, in the strategic planning working group. They get to do something. And these people are out there, we know them. The likes of Eric Omondi, even Kasmuel Mkoure, many people. We can have people in the communication and media group so that you'll be able to plan how you communicate. I'm sure KIBE is also good in that. We can have people in the legal affairs, the likes of Faith Odhiambo, the LLSK. Many people who are passionate can have something being done there in an organized way. We can have people in the finance and fundraising group. We can have people in communication and outreach group. We can have people, so much in the Twitter spaces. We can have people in research and analysis group. We can have people in security and safety, logistics and supply chain, people in the technology and IT. We already thinking of using a blockchain technology, ensure transparency, and even to ensure credibility in our elections. People in IT working group can work on that. People in the health and wellness group. We have the like of Austin Omondi, who have been doing their best, making sure that those who are short get good treatment. We have people under diaspora like art and culture. Eric Omondi is perfect in that. We have people, we can have a group of we call direct action group, whereby when we say we are now going to JKIA, who are the people on the front? People mobilizing so that we have a good population in the say for mass protest. We cannot
Tomboy, so what you're saying, Tom,
advocacy and many things. Yes,
Tom, can you hear me? Tom,
yes.
I think there's a connection problem.
I'm listening.
Tom and I. You can hear me?
I'm listening. I'm hearing you. Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, so and you are creating your own, like, shadow government.
Yes.
So there's a problem.
Really
there's a problem with connection, Tom. But I'm hearing you creating a shadow government. That's what you're creating. You're creating a parallel government to the one that is there. So
yes.
you would go down all departments, you'd go down to every office in government, and now reconstitute that office with this group of new people in there. Isn't that what you're doing?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Man, what happened to him? Jimmy, go ahead as we wait for him to fix his life. I'm coming to you, Fatuma. Jimmy. If Jimmy is waiting, then let's hear from Fatuma. Fatuma, what's up?
Actually, today I'm so disappointed.
What happened?
Just the discussion. It's so disheartening to listen to people saying you can't be a leader. I think you are already a leader. The Gen Zs have been on autopilot. And now there is a lot of turbulence. You can't continue being on autopilot with no pilot sitting on the pilot seat. You have already done your part. I think it's high time when the people who are hosting spaces come together, the Gen Zs have to start re-strategizing. It's like like I said last time, it's like being in a situation room in a war room. You can't say we are leaderless forever. It cannot be possible. Yesterday somebody died. We lost another life. So do we wait for more people to be killed for us to get angry enough and rethink our strategy? Kibe, are you there?
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead,
Yeah, so
finish your
for me,
submission. Let's hear where you're going.
yeah, so for me, I just want to share my experience. Like when I went out there, when I went back to Marsabit, I was only 22 years old. I was young, and nobody listened to me. The elders knew I had there was no chance. And I was angry enough to be on the street and protest, even slapped an OCS. I was arrested for that. But I felt I can't be on the street forever. I need to engage differently, re-strategize differently. And that is when I picked up the football. I felt that the law corridors were really too small for me. No cases were being taken to court. Murder is solved out of court, defilement is solved out of court, rape is solved out of court. Every case is solved out of court by the elders. And we have a law in this country. Marsabit is part of this country. And the elders had every decision, when you get married, who you get married to, it was a decision they make. So you had no voice, you had no choice as a woman, as a young woman then. And if I didn't re-strategize then we would not have had the generation that is now in leadership or trying to take up leadership and ready for leadership. And there comes a time when somebody like Raila has to retire, because you can't be, he has been on the street. Someone just said that for him it's just opportunity. He's looking for an opportunity even now to get into government. The Gen Zs have no business, they don't want to get. That is not the kind of negotiation that we are doing. That is not the kind of negotiation. And so for me, I feel just like being in the situation room, you have to have people who are, the think tanks of the movement. We cannot afford to stand on the sidelines even as parents of these Gen Zs. We have to get involved in the movement, hold their hand, and run with them.
All right, Linux.
Kibe mambo.
Fiti.
I think we need to, even if it's not Kibe, it has to be someone. Even if it's Kibe, it has to be someone. You see, at the last time I spoke, we said that vacuum is never there. You have to take up space. And I said we need to show face. So my submission today is very light and very, very, very straightforward. Even if it's not Kibe, it has to be someone. It is about time people become political. And last time I said somehow politics is local. We have to be part of politics for us to change this country. We have to be part of an umbrella. If you're not wishing to be political, then we are lying to ourselves when we say we want to change this country. So we need to be political. That's it, KIBE.
All right. Engineer DK.
Hey, good morning, KIBE. How are you?
I'm easy, bro.
Okay, me, I'm good. So I just want to say that yesterday I had a meeting with Guru Akut, one of the founding members of the guy who wrote the 2010 Constitution. So he had an idea, and we agreed with some of our peers that we should start. I'm going to answer your question. We're starting a shadow government. He's going to do a petition saizi by June. I think it got tayari. So he'll post it on his Twitter page. That's how he's going to make sure that Ruto will resign. Also, he's going to take it into Parliament as well. So those are the few things what we're going to do. So for the shadow government, we're going to have, of course, we're going to have a leader. That's the way forward for now. Also, we're going to what else are we going to do? We're going to speak to ICC, see if they can do something as well, because some people in Parliament are brought. The judges are being paid, so that's another thing also. So from 5 guys, there's going to be a petition. I need you guys to decide to remove this guy from Parliament, and it's going to be addressed in Parliament. Thank you very much.
So many questions about that. So many questions. So you guys have come up with a whole shadow government. Have you picked your leader?
As for now, we're thinking about these bloggers, like the likes of Kimizi, those guys, not Otero, the other guy, Polo, those guys. Yeah, at the moment, but we haven't got up with a plan at the moment.
Interesting.
We're going to have a docket, and it's going to be presented in Parliament for the removal of the president.
I'm having a headache just thinking about it. Who has a question about this before I jump into it? You guys are just going to leave me out in the cold with that story, huh? Yeah. You all know what you need to ask. You guys are going to leave me out in the cold here. Linux, what's up?
Me, I want to say that move is a very good move. Now at least them that making strides. They have picked up something. They are running with it. There's someone who spoke earlier and said we better stop talking, pick up a movement and move. Leta tusonge. Hivyo venye wamefanya ni sawa. Akina Ekuru Court, twende nayo sasa. Kama KIBE bado anangoja, twende nayo.
Yeah, you can't fault that, but that's for sure. You can't fault that. Yeah, all right. Jay Watu, are you there?
Hi, KIBE. I'm here.
Amazing. Go ahead, man.
I don't know. I have a few questions. Anybody who can answer can answer. The first thing is, I've been listening to this thing for since it began. I've been tuned into this space and some few spaces out there, and this is my observation. I think whoever has planned this, I think I should buy that guy a beer or something. That person who, according to me, what I see, like the Maandamano that was yesterday, Like, who in this group knew how the date was chosen? Like, who determined? Like, I see people are making suggestions. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. Is there anybody who's asked, can we have the Maandamano on Tuesday? Like, is there anybody who was asked to have the Maandamano on Tuesday and Thursday, or any other decisions? Like, did anybody predict that Osama, that guy, would have been like brought into a boardroom and they would have discussed, not unless the guy hosted the president? Among those people, do you think that it is only him who was approached? Like, if you are not part of those decisions, then the Gen Z movement, if it is Gen Z movement, there are leaders, and those leaders are insisting on staying without leaders. They remain the leaders. They remain in control. And at the end of the day, there is someone who will come out, or a group of people who are sitting somewhere planning for the movement with their leaders, but they don't want to come out as leaders. That's why whoever needs to be a leader, if it is KIBE, if it is anybody else, they have to take it. They don't have to wait for Gen Z to say, now you are our leader. It will never get to that day. Not today, not ever. And if you're not part of the people who planned, we will be going on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. If you are not part of the people who are planning, no, this office, we will not go to this one we will die. Who has not died since the movement began? Who decides that? And how sustainable is this movement going to be? Is it 2 months? Is it 3 months? Is it 3 years? Until when? Because let's be honest, how many people are willing to go every week 2 days? Like, realistically speaking, who is willing to be there? Because me, I'm sure I'm not. I will not lie to you that I will be there. So if there is not going to be a leader, then this thing will go, and whoever the leader is will not be chosen. They will choose themselves. So if anybody has answers as to who is making those decisions, then maybe you'll have the solution to that, to whatever is happening right now in Kenya. I'm willing to listen to the answers. Maybe I'll come up with new ones. Thank you, guys.
Woo! Abdullahi.
Yes, KIBE.
What's up?
Mi niko fiti na follow discussion. So hii thing ya leaders, so tunafai interpret how maybe we define a leader. I think it was define a leader timse moja ndo anaenda anaongea. Movement we know in leaders because different people wanna do different things. Different spaces wanafanya their own what they are best at. Ukiniuliza ando the leaders. Ando kiwa jamii, ando people look up to, wanasema he's doing right, maybe I should join him, right? So leaders wako, but so leaders maybe watu wanatafuta ni ile wenye tumezoea sijui hiyo representation which mimi sikubaliani inge nayo. Juu mtu ataenda nunuliwe, ni hiyo story yenyewe imeisha hivyo. Yeah. So mimi perspective yangu leaders wako on small kila mtu ni actually kasi kila mtu leaders, but most people wana hizo leadership skills because watu wanajimobilize wenyewe. Hiyo representation ya mtu mmoja na kuongea tu, amesema ukweli. Watu wengi walikuwa approached, hata wenye walikuwa approached hivyo ndo wanaona like hawana say because kuna hiyo bado hatunataki representation ya mtu mmoja. Yes, kila mtu anaingia anachangia venye anachangia, but hiyo sio unakuja unatuambia sasa wewe ndo utakuwa una call the shots wewe mmoja. I think haitawaka. So okay, wali tuko ni nakubali tuko mali crucial sana mali toyo. Watu wanasema tunataka leaders ndo tuende mbele, all these other things. Skatai ni mali tuko ni mali crucial, but how we approach it pia inafaa ikuwe
Tofauti tuangalia hasa kitambo hii movement zimekuwa. Na hasa amekuwa kimake hizo same mistakes. Yeah. She makes same mistakes. Hiyo kitu ya maandamano kwa okay, I think ilianza tu maybe na think hashtag was so occupy maybe maandamano Tuesdays na Thursdays. Ikakuwa thing na hivyo ndio imekuwa thing watoto toke Tuesdays na Thursdays. Kuna watu so hiyo ndio thing, hakuna mtu amelazimishwa atokee. Kuna watu watatokea, kuna watu watokee. Turn-up zimekuwa low since maybe 25th. Kuna zasema watu wameuzi uoga. Ama kuna watu watasema maybe hatuna straight agenda. You know, hizi zote hizi conspiracy, any time ya conspiracy mob. Yeah. Na okay, mimi hadi si feel bad at ziko. Yaani niko sawa juu okay, kila movement hizi vitu ziko. But msisahau agenda ni gani? Agenda ndio you like Kenya mna fight hiyo ndio itakuwa ina unite. Juu bas was scenario ni to call out for hizi chetu watu wachague au watu waende wakuwe pia part of the system. Wenye pia Ruto ameenda amekuwa part of the system. Changes has taken up. Mimi actually nataka hiyo leaderless like you kuna sikia mtu anaongea hiyo presidency like ni devolve like president tu ni figure. But wasendo wanaamua. You know, hata kwa create website like on every issue. Ile tunataka ama mtaki wasone ingi online watu wanavote like every issue inafaa kuwa like kila mse akue leader. Work. System ndio tu imewekwa isifanye like to someone else. Thank you for listening.
Kibe, that was a very interesting submission. Do you think what he was saying is really practical?
It's not practical. For it. You see a place that has been built well, it was built, somebody built it. You cannot live in your imagination and we are going to have, what are we going to have? How are we going to have that? Who's going to make the decision on the platform that is going to be used? Because there's a platform that has to be used. We have to come up with a platform. But who makes that decision on the platform? And you see, maybe you guys need to understand that because what you're giving, and this is what the leaders are supposed to be. Like now the MPs, you give them the power and you tell them, hey, take my power, go represent me. Go represent me in parliament. So when they come up with stupid bills, you can defend me from the position you know us in. Or the position we have taken as people of Langata. Let's assume we're talking about Jalango. So Jalango has been given power by the people of Langata to go into parliament and fight for Langata. Okay? So when he goes into parliament, he has to now be in line with what people of Langata are going through. And he fights and he says, I want this and I want that. And he debates on at the house and he does all this shit. So that's what we're talking about here. Because you guys want everybody to make the decision. Not everybody can make that decision. You have to give the power to somebody to make the decision on your behalf. That's why this person you're giving is very important. Because when you give him that power, you're supposed to sit back and let him do the work. The same way when you give your house girl the power to raise your child. You're not going to be at the office every 5 seconds calling her. You decide either she raises a kid or you raise a kid. But the better the house girl, the better the child is going to grow. So you guys have to get the leadership trauma out of your head, because we have that trauma of the leaders. But think about somebody who's managing your product. Bro, if you have a shop you get someone who's good at managing your shop. Oh, you sleep. And that point, anybody who has been in business, when you get a good manager, once they manage for you the shop so well, you want to open more shops and give them this, tell this person, can you do this for me here as well? Now, mwelewi hiyo story ya leadership. It's crucial that Gen Z spend the rest of their time now identifying who these people are. I will help you. I will do it. I will present. In fact, I will go to each and every inbox of every person who I think is one of these people and tell them, hey, listen, come here, let's sit privately, away from all this noise. Let's have this discussion because we must have it. Whether we kithni or we ndekni. Hii kitu hatutapewa. Tunangoja kupewa. Somebody said that shit and I don't know, it was a lady. I think it was you, Fabi. Hii kitu mnangoja kupewa, hakuna kitu ya kupewa hapa. Is you declare yourself. yeah. Today I've learned so many things. There's nothing to be given for free until somebody is waiting to be given. Ah, damn. So yes, Mariam, it doesn't make sense. Anything that has to be built, lazima watu wawili watatu watakaa chini wa discuss. Na sasa shida ni saa hii gava inakaa chini kudiscuss vile itaokota hii movement. Lakini movement haikai chini kubonga vile itaenda mbele. How are you going to ever get to where you're going if you don't sit and agree? So you can live in your delusion. You can live in your imagination as long as you want. But the truth of the matter is, lazima mtafika yoke. Palina na show, lazima mtafika hapo. So me and everyone, Wiki, go ahead.
KIBE, can you hear me?
Yeah, go. You're good. You're good.
Okay. I like the fact that you're saying whether we kidney or indectly. At this point, KIBE, to be honest, we've realized we know what we are fighting for. We know who the enemy is. We've outlined the problems that we, the Gen Z and the millennials, are facing, and I think we are all in agreement. Yeah. And it's high time, and I totally agree with each and everyone that has put this forward, that we need somebody now to echo those our sentiments out there. And that's why I was very pleased when you decided to host guys like Akina Gaido. I don't know whether because I didn't listen to that, I don't know whether they came or they presented themselves. But I would still urge you, KIBE. Because even right now, I've had the privilege of joining almost each and every of these spaces that are held. My suggestion would be, KIBE, in your position, you are able to reach each and every person. These people who are holding these spaces. At least you can, either publicly or privately, you can reach out to these people and try to, Akina Kimwezi, Akina, right now I can see high time that we get somebody on the driver's seat. Yeah. And my suggestion is that we get also Miguna, I don't know, you don't like him that much, but that man speaks sense. Yeah. Sometimes it's good to take away the message from the messenger. If you don't like the messenger, pick the message. I had a teacher who used to tell me that I come to class and teach you. I'll bring you a sack full of what I've taught you. Pick out one or two. The rest, give it back to me. I'll go back with it. So it's high time you also just one day tune when Miguna is one of these spaces. Just tune and listen to him. That guy has facts, and I believe some of those facts are things that we can apply to this movement, that it will really help us keep it. So even if you don't like the man, please just listen to him. You can even go there with a pseudo account, listen to him, and then you'll really realize that he speaks sense. And it's somebody we can tap. We don't have to use it, but we can tap from what he usually talks about, and it can help forward our agenda to somewhere. It's high time we be on the table. It's high time we make a majority of those decisions. Everything that you say makes sense. The youths are the bulk in Kenya. We are over almost 20 million. Why should we be given one ministerial post? We are the ones who are supposed to be deciding how many posts, how many of those CSS should exist. Why are they deciding on our behalf? And then they are choosing for us which one to take. It means we don't have a choice, yet we are the majority. We might have messed up in 2022 by not voting in or not partaking into the elections, but I think that was an eye-opener. We ended up with leaders who are not our own, but it was an eye-opener for us. So what we can do moving forward is to ensure that we don't make the same mistakes we did. We should tap in from that and then ensure that moving forward, we are on top of each and everything, the decision that the government makes. Our voice must be heard in each and every decision that they make. That is the only way our aspirations and our desires will get to be fulfilled. I think that's all I have to say, KIBE.
All right, thank you, Wiki. Appreciate that. Wiki says we should bring everybody, including Miguna. The only problem I have with Miguna is that Miguna is not very collaborative. He's like Guido. They don't like to work with people. They are better when it's just full-on chaos. But when it comes to building, they're not builders. So Miguna will not play well with others. Same with Guido. He'll always look for a way to just sabotage the whole thing. So yes, I do want them here, but
that's why I said, KIBE, we don't have to bring them on board. We just have to tap into what they're saying. It will really help move us forward. Yeah, there's a way you can take a message from somebody without really.
Yeah, but you see,
implementing his ideas.
You see, the thing is, I don't want to take a message from someone I do not really agree with. Because you see, fundamentally, we're already not agreeing on one thing. Because I'm saying you're emotional, and the way you're presenting your argument is in an emotional way. So I don't want to follow you down your emotions. I want to follow you in logic. So as long as we remain on logic, I'm fine. But if you go to emotions, then you lose me. That's why I have a problem with these two people. Because of the small emotions they keep having. And we cannot have angry people. Even giving advice. First, go get rid of that anger. It doesn't matter what advice you want to give us. Go get rid of that anger. And then come back and tell us now, okay, now my anger is done, and now I can give advice. Otherwise, you may be giving us advice from your a very dark place, my guy.
Let me interrupt you a little, KIBE. There's a space Miguna was hosted by Guido. I don't know if I'm getting the name correct. And he categorically said that when William Ruto first contacted him, he gave him an idea of how he could bring back the money that some few Kenyans has outside the country. Yeah. So such an idea, it's really, if you're someone who has the best of the country's interests at heart, an idea like that, regardless of how it's presented, it could be that Miguna has personal vendetta with Uhuru Kenyatta, and that's why he was giving such ideas on how to get stashed money, because we know the Kenyatta's family has the majority of money outside the country. We've all had that over the past years. But if you are really listening from someone, from the point of view where you mean good for the country and you really want Kenya to prosper, then you'll tap into that idea and then leave the angry Miguna or Miguna who need revenge with the Uhuru Kenyatta out of it and implement the idea. That is what I'm talking about. So as much as he might be emotional, as much as he might be angry, and maybe talking from the point of I want to, I need to maybe sort of.
No,
How do I put it?
Vicky, let's be honest about where we are right now, okay?
Yeah.
Miguna does not play well with others. He does not. He has never been able to play well with others. It's not me who's coming up with this shit. He does not know how to play well with others. So as long as you cannot play with others, then you cannot build with others. So you cannot build with a Kenyan. Miguna doesn't want to build. He wants to destroy. So there's no building here you're talking about when you mention Miguna. When you mention Gaido, there's no building you're talking about. Yeah, so the ideas are there. You can take ideas from anyone. Bro, I don't need ideas from Miguna. We can take ideas from anyone. Okay? Right now, when I open this show, I have even someone like you, Wiki. Just mute your mic for a second. Even someone like you, Wiki, why can't we take your ideas? It doesn't matter. Ideas are the mob. Ideas are the majority. We have so many ideas. The implementers are the people who are missing. The people who are going to make sure these ideas come to life are the people who are missing. And Miguna is not one of them. Francis Gaido is not one of them. They do not play well with others. These are activists. Someone like Boniface Mwangi is not one of them. These are activists. Now you must go to second gear. The first gear is good to get you out of the mud. But now we need to go higher. We need to go to the second gear. So these guys are good when it's activism. But now you need to go to the streets and, we need to burn down everything. What is level 2? So my level 2 is, hey, these are level 1 guys. It doesn't matter what you think about them. They'll always be level 1 guys. Miguna has always remained on that side. Boniface Mwangi has been there on that side. These are guys who, this is their life. They're like Raila Odinga. You guys are trying to get a Raila Odinga into presidency. He's telling you, I don't want to be a president. I've never wanted to be president. I've always been on this side. This is where I flourish. So if you guys want to remain on that side, where you're just, players that don't make a difference in the game, then fine. You can go listen to those guys. But those guys are not, they're never meant to leave that position they're in. So if you're getting an idea from Miguna, go get the idea. But don't get Miguna. Leave Miguna right where he is. Because Miguna is going to ban even you. You, when you go to him, he's going to ban you. Francis Gaido fights his own people. He's just a fighter. These are not builders. So don't bring builders here. Don't bring fighters here. Time you're fighting him is a sign time you could strategize and could build.
I get you, Kibe, and I totally agree with you. So maybe you be at the helm and help steer this ship to where it will safely dock, bro. Because as you rightfully mentioned earlier, we have Makoure, who is in each and every station right now. Sometimes he's even contradicting himself if you listen at how he talks. And it's because we lack leadership. Had it been that we have somewhere a point of reference that each and every person was reading from the same script, then it would be much easier so that even if he appeared, it's good to appear for those interviews. I don't refuse that. But had it been that we have the same script we are reading from, that when I call Kibe, he says this, the exact thing. When Makoure appears for those interviews, he says the same exact thing. Then we even the government will come to realize that we have something tangible now that and they'll really take us seriously. But if we have Kibe here trying to steer us to this direction, and then somebody from somewhere comes with a totally different idea, then those people, wherever they are, they look at us and they say, these people, just leave them. As our lady earlier said, they know we'll make noise, and at the end of the day, there's nothing that will amount to it. But I totally agree with you that right now we are on gear 2, and we really need people to be on the driver's seat and steer us towards the direction that we really need to go. I think that's all I have. Thank you, Kibe.
All right, Mariam, before we go to everyone, Mariam.
Yes, Kibe, I do have a question for you. We all know that the only way to beat the system is to understand the system. And I know that you are affiliated with a lot of people who are either in politics or are ex-politicians. So have you thought of bringing any of them for this conversation so that they can give their input into what way what direction we can take if we want to beat the system?
No, for me, I'm not interested in beating the system, Mariam. So when you come up with that, say the only way to beat the system is to be in the system. No, I'm not interested in that. Because that.
What are you interested in?
No, because that is, you see, that has no real results. That's the same thing like what all these other people have tried to do. Jalas and the rest. You cannot beat that system. That system has been created to be like that. That's the house. You can never beat the house. The minute the house realizes you want to beat it, it will expel you and kill you if it must. The house cannot lose, so you cannot beat that system. So my interest is not in beating the system. I have never even thought about that. Because again, Mariam, you have to understand, the people who are running the system are not guys from the towns, these are guys from shags. So already, there's a, what do you call it? There's a mismatch. When you approach there, you think they'll want you there, Mariam, with this kizungu konawe. Hey. They will not want you there. They want to kick. They don't want you because you are coming in with the accountability. You're coming in with the to make sure the system works. They do not want you there. So unless you get rid of all of them in one clean swoop, Mariam, and I'm talking about get rid of everyone who is in Gava, you can never beat that system. That system does not exist only with the MPs or with the MCAs or with the president. That system is all the way down to the clerks, to the people who are going to be signing that receipt or whatever. So that system is so rotten that if you don't get rid of all of it, you have to create a whole new system. And me, I'm for a whole new system. I am okay with that. Very okay with creating a whole new system.
Is that really, Amando the Lulu Wednesday? Is that really practical to remove everyone by one clean? So can it really happen realistically?
But aren't you looking for the solution? If there's a solution that has been presented, see, you do not have the solution.
So you know, this is what
system has refused to work for the people. So who are these people who it's not working for? Because the system is working for some people. Don't forget that. The people who are benefiting from the system, they are fine with it. So the only people who have a problem are the ones it's not working for.
So you see your dilemma, Kibe, is for you to even remove all these people the way you're talking about it, you need to get in the system. You need to understand that system for you to be able to remove them. It's a system that will remove them, that will spit them out. So you cannot penetrate it without understanding it. No, are you understanding?
No, I get what you're saying, but for me, it's a bit more black and white than that. For me, I don't think you'd ever get rid of that system by being in the system, or you'd ever fix the system by being in the system, because there is no evidence of that. There is no evidence of a fixed system. There's evidence of people coming in with new systems. The fixed system approach has never worked because the system is rotten to the core. To the core, Mariam. The system, once you get into the system, you've already been taught how to be corrupt. So how are you going to fix that? Like now there's some there's some people who, by the time they live in Kiganjo, their first posting, they've already been told how much they'll be given by the end of the day. These guys discuss it when they're in Kiganjo and all these training institutes, knowing that as soon as I finish here, I'm getting into government. So the system is rotten. If you don't get rid of that system, then there's no way you can fix the system. They say, hey, this house needs to be demolished. There's no fixing it. So if you keep insisting on fixing it, then you are part of the problem because you are the ones who know this house needs to be demolished, but you are here painting it. You're here telling people that they can live in it, and you know it is a danger to everybody. So for me, it's very black and white. Either you get rid of this system, put in a new system, or you just assimilate into the system. Simple. Two things. Get rid of this system, bring in a new system. Even the other day, I told these guys, you guys might think of coming up with your own constitution. If you're the majority, why not? This constitution doesn't seem to be working for you. These guys seem to be flaunting. Every time they're given a law or the High Court says something, they say, oh, fuck it. Fuck High Court. Fuck the courts. We shall go and do whatever we want. Umelewa Mariam hapo?
Naelewa, but bado niko stuck hapo kwa
Kwa?
hapana. Maybe let someone else submit first. Me sioni, okay, but because my question was as I said earlier, you're affiliated with people who can give you very good counsel on how to go about this, have good input in the way to go about this, and we had a of good input in the way to go about this, and we had a gentleman here was talking about Miguna and all that. I understand why he's talking about them, because they give advice. So do you think that these kind of people would have good input when it comes to this, do we say movement?
No, I don't think they would. I don't think they would, because this movement does not need people. It doesn't need talkers. It needs doers. And doers are more valuable than talkers, because talkers can talk a big game, but on the ground they do nothing. So we'd rather doers. Because if they were doers, then we would have seen what they have done, but they are not doers. Gen Z have proved they are doers. Gen Z now, when they want to fix something, they are going to fix it. So we'd rather work with doers. You'd get more done with doers than talkers. Hey, Mariam, they have talked too much. And I'm trying to stop us from being those people who just talk and do nothing. That's why today is a very important show. We must get somewhere. We must stop being these guys who just all we do is talk and talk and talk. And then you get a dopamine hit, feel good in your nuts, and then you go home and say, oh, today I've done something. What have you done? Everyone. Moremi, there.
Yes. I hope you can hear
Perfectly.
me.
Go ahead.
Okay, so before I start I have written several points down, but before I start, let me first address Mariam. Mariam, you're saying that it's not possible for us to change the entire system, yet it is. It actually is, because if we let's say how Ruto has just fired the CSS, it has not been gazetted and all that, but if we were to change, if we were to remove Ruto, according to the constitution, and also as I was being taught in primary school, if the president steps down, the entire on that particular day, and business being at a standstill means that there are losses that are being accumulated, and this is an economic burden that is being brought up because the government is not listening to the people. Next, I wanted to talk about KIBE. You said that us being leaderless and all that is pointless. However, I also heard you say that we are in step 2. I do not think we are done with step 1 yet. As long as we are still tweeting Ruto must go, so we are not done with step 1. So if we are not done with step 1, if we choose leaders now, what makes you so sure that they will not be compromised? I mean, we have been seeing Azimio, ODM. They have been having a leader all this time. People have been dying in MAANDAMANO every year. However, Raila will go into some room, shake hands with whoever, and then all those deaths will be for nothing. All that will be for nothing because he's going to compromise. So at the moment, I do not think we need leaders. We need to stay focused on the goal, which is putting as much pressure as we can to ensure that Ruto goes. And also, I wanted to say this, that we should stop referring to Ruto and his cronies as leaders. They are not leaders. They are our employees. We are the ones who gave them the job to take care of the country, because not everyone can do it. We are the ones who employed them. So we should treat them like employees. So let me ask you this. If you go to your house and find your maid has sold your television, will you sit down for dialogue, or will you just fire them? That is a very good question. Another question is, you have consumed poison. At this moment, there is poison in your stomach. Will you focus on going on what you're going to eat next, or are you going to focus on dealing with the poison in your stomach at the time? Before I continue, is there any question? I have another point. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is about having political parties and all that, having leadership and all that. Having political parties, again, I go back to ODM. This is where we bring about herd mentality, where we think like sheep, where we expect all our decisions to go out through one person. But if we all shout, it is easier to hear one person speak, but a multitude is louder. That is why it is better for us to go to the streets. I am a Gen Z and I will go to the streets. And so a lot of people have been asking, what next after Ruto steps down? I'm sure the constitution has stipulated what happens once the president goes down. I think the parliament is dissolved and all that, and the KDF take over and all that. And then people are going to stand up for these positions. The same scrutiny that we have given Mr. Ruto right now, I am pretty sure that the next candidate will undergo particular scrutiny. And I think the parts of the systems that should be changed are, one, the people who are getting into these MP and MCA positions, they should not be driven by greed. We should find leadership-oriented people who actually want to lead. So then, if they want a step forward, let us not negotiate with the government. Let us change the entire system. Let the leaders you want us to choose come up with a referendum then that blocks all these loopholes that make it easy for corruption to go on. The main reason corruption is so rampant in the country is because it's a profitable business. I mean, the risk is very low compared to the reward. For instance, if there was a time, I'm not sure if it was Kabogo, stole around 500 million, and then he was fined around 200 million. You see, that is business, where you put the fine amount in the calculation, because as long as the constitution makes it possible for this to happen, it will continue happening. So those leaders we're supposed to choose, we're not choosing leader. We should not choose leaders so that we can put them in the ballot, because that will be the old mentality where the people of Murima are saying kijana yetu, the people of Rift Valley are saying kijana yetu. Now Gen Z will also start saying kijana yetu. That means we'll be going back to the old politics. But if we want to fix this nation, we should come up with the constitutional reforms. The constitution is the only one that will save us, which means that if somebody steals from the government, this is what will happen to them. And it is not something that anaweza lenga tu eti nilipe fine iondoke. In fact, the fact that they are stealing money that affects a number of lives, because if you steal 3 billion shillings, that means you've affected every Kenyan operates a day. If you steal 3 billion shillings, you have affected the lives of around 3 million Kenyans. That is not something that should be compromised. You should not be given a fine for something like that. That is almost the same as treason. You are an enemy of the state, and you should be treated as such. I think one of the main problems is that the constitution is very lenient. The constitution treats criminals and the innocent, all of them equally. It's true we are all equal in the eyes and image of God, but our actions are not. That is where there is hell and there is heaven. And there should be greater consequences for these things. So once we are done with the step one of making sure that Zakayo ameshuka, the next step will be fixing these loopholes and ensuring that it is not possible for us to lose this money. Then maybe Gen Zs will make their own political parties and all that. Yes, that is my submission, and I hope everyone is having a good day. Yes, you can carry on.
All right. Thank you, Murimi Kogi. Midi Joe.
Yes, please. Thank you, Kibe, for the space. First and foremost, I want to differ with one Mariam, because she said that we can't change this country just merely by using the constitution and going to the streets. And let me remind her that going to the streets is something that is embedded in our constitution. So people going out to the streets, it's constitutional. Now, the big question is, why is the government making it hard? Or rather, why is the government preventing the people from protesting and picketing, whereas it's a right in the constitution? Because these guys are afraid that if they let it happen the way it's supposed to be, so we hear the president talking about rule of the law, and it's the same government that is preventing or maybe abusing people on the streets when we go to protest, even if it's done in a peaceful manner. So one thing is, we know the government is contradicting itself when it comes to use of the rule of the law statement. Secondly, when your computer has virus, do you pick files to cleanse, or do you cleanse the whole of it? That's the question that everyone is supposed to be asking him or herself, because you can't fix a system. You can't fix a system. And the system that we have in the government, we can't fix it. So we need to get rid of everyone in office and come up with a new system if we want this country to move forward. Because what happens is that, and I'd like to encourage everyone to do their due diligence, even when it comes to the county governments. And you'll see to it that there are characters who have served almost in every regime since the time of Kenyatta, our first president, up to now. There are certain characters that are never touched. Even if we have a new regime, they remain in office. Why? And I have a simple answer to that. These guys are the guys now that are responsible in showing the new leaders how corruption is carried out. Because when you are elected in office, new leaders, they come in very naive, very honest, and stuff like that. But there are these guys, and these guys are never in the limelight, but they are there. They are there. They are the ones who show these new leaders how to do it, how to steal money, how to bypass, how to break the constitution, and how to get away with it. And these guys are almost in each and every ministry. They are in each and every arm of the government. Name them, the executive, the parliament, and even in the judiciary. And people are supposed to know that it's so serious now. It's so serious because even in our county governments, aren't there new people who can work in these offices? Aren't there new people who can be appointed in those posts and serve? Because we are all Kenyans. But just because the new leaders that come in, they share the same mind with other leaders that we had. Now, these guys show them how to steal. These guys coach them. These guys coach them how to do business with our money. They show them what to do and what not to do. So, in my opinion, is that we need to have a new system. We need to kick out these leaders who have served more than 10 years And as we speak right now, Ruto's regime is only 2 years old. When he was deputy president, he was always complaining. Oh, the president is neglecting me. My office hasn't been allocated this and this amount of money. I don't know. I'm not being given the government aeroplanes to fly in and stuff like that. Now he's the same guy who is the president now, and still the things that were happening during Uhuru's regime, they are the same things that we have right now. We don't have new problems. Come on, guys. We don't have new problems. Specifically those who've served let's not lie to ourselves. They have the blueprint of each and everything that they do. So the reason we are saying this government needs to go is because we have characters in government that have been there since time immemorial. So guys, let's be realistic for once. Let's be apolitical for once. And let's shun away this mentality of our guy. Because even right now, it's so unfortunate that one governor of one year governor, Mutahi Kahiga, I heard him the other day saying that we have 8 positions in the cabinet that are supposed to be preserved for Mount Kenya leaders or stuff like that. What kind of nonsense is this? Because these guys know if competent people are appointed in these offices, then their game has come to an end. They will have no people to cover their corrupt dealings in government. They will have no godfathers. And we have to get rid of these guys. We have to get rid of these guys. And if not so, then let's just go back to our normal businesses and call it a wrap and say we tried. But winners never quit. And we are just about to win. Be it now or later or in future, but we are about to win. So let's be realistic, guys, and let us hold the bull by the horns. Let's face our problems the way they are. Let's not just talk and talk and talk and run away from the reality. The reality is that this country has gone to its knees because of the same leaders that we keep on recycling. These guys know everything about the government. They have mastered their art. And the only way that we can get this country moving forward is to get rid of all of them. And that's why they are afraid. Because if we get rid of all of them, we'll have new leadership that will go after them. And that's what they are preventing. Because they know very well. If a new leadership comes in place or a new regime, a regime that will not tolerate corruption, a regime that will not tolerate bad governance, a regime that won't tolerate police brutality, then they know it will be hell for them. So today, guys, let's be realistic. moving forward, let's be realistic. That's my humble submission. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Midijo. IPA review. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity, and I will seek your protection, Mr. Kibe, because I'm not here to make popular opinions. I'm here to give facts. First thing first, let's start with these people who are saying that we need to remove them all so that we bring them new. Who are these one you're bringing? Are you bringing them from heaven, or they are Kenyans? And what has Kenyans been doing? You've been voting for them ever since. Have you? Is it that you acquired brains today that you didn't have since 19 whichever? All the election, they say youth. There's somebody yesterday who came here called Keegan, who told us that we need another president for youth so that they don't go to state house. Do you think do they want to have two centers of power in Kenya? I'm asking, do they want? Just because you came the other day does not mean that you are very smart. It means that you found things the way are and you got a vote. You didn't even vote at your fellow agency. So when they talk about corruption and come here to lament, have they fixed the judiciary? We're supposed to handle the corruption. With this thing, the only thing is that they're emotionally excited, but they don't have the practical solutions. Somebody talked here about military. When the military seizes power, they don't seize with it with the intention of relinquishing, and that means the constitution will be suspended. What happens after the constitution is suspended? They choose when the election will be held, because they don't owe you anything. When you talk, when now the constitution is here, Ruto, you will tell him there will be election 2027. And there will be election 2027. But when the military is there, the constitution is suspended. That means nothing is functioning. So when now, understand this, when instead of fixing the IEBC because they've been complaining with what this once the military is there, that means for the next 70 years, because you didn't put them there, they will decide when to leave. I saw yesterday, and I'm seeing here, one community taking jobs. How did you come up with that data? That is not normally politically motivated. Where you pick, you stereotype and pick people from certain community, you put their name somewhere, then you start pointing a finger at them. Bring the whole list and bring this is the percentage of the people, that we will end up where one community is being victimized for something they didn't do. I will tell you, there are Kikuyus who are unemployed, and there is something. So I don't know where they came with an instrument to test that this will be a perfect Kenyan, and now we have a new machine that this will be a competent Kenya. What is competence? Even companies in the West fail with the competent management. And there is something about this. There was somebody who was agitating for something like interrupting business in town. Where does your right start and where does my right start? If you go to the streets, you interfere with my business. Does it not mean that you even do I not have rights to carry my own business so that you interfere with it? So that's why we have Uhuru Park, we have Kamkunji. Just be going there. No, nothing in the streets. Be careful. Your rights does not stop mine. So when you complain about police brutality, also be considerate that you also interfered with my rights. So be careful with what we show. And also, there is something. Now, let me give you something practical. Not even practical. What you guys want? Everybody to exit Kenya. Then now you go to Indian Ocean. So as you come, I'm the one selecting. If I don't like your face, I don't like your character, I don't like you, I shoot you, you go out, then we have a new country. Is that what you want? The perfect? The only thing, the problem is that if people don't agree with you, you start telling me that I am wrong, I'm stupid, no, that's not how democracy works. You must entertain all the stupid ideas. That's why you go on demonstrating, destroying other people's business, like yesterday, and when the police try to protect other people, it becomes brutality. And also, always there will be collateral damage because you don't go to the streets there behind neurosis. And in the course of things, there will be collateral damage. So be careful. So, and these things, there was somebody who was taking to TV and used the Kenyan media. A Kenyan media used the Kenyan frequencies that has been rented to Kenyan media to incite Kenyans against their government. They want to put their competent people or professionals. Who are these professionals? In the name of National Transition Council. Who are these? Who's going to select them? Who is going to vet them? It's not that we come here to media to vet people because of your emotions, using your emotions that people are competent. No. That is why the reason we have election every 5 years. They had election in 2022, and there will be election in 2027. Fix the process. If you want to fix IBC, if you want to fix the judiciary, fix them. But at the moment, these things of going to interrupt other people's right in the name of removing Ruto, that won't work. We are not going to allow you to take us to where Somalia is, to where Libya is. Libya as National Transition Council. Up to date, there has not been an election. So, and Pakistan is suffering from constant coups, and we don't want to go there. So please respect the rule of law. We have a constitution in place. If you have any complaint against any particular police station, you don't go to the IG, go to the police station. You can sue that police station. I've sued once a police station. I sued the OCS, the OCPD, and I got my right. So it's this stupid thing of lynching each and individual person at the top using tribal rhetoric is very dangerous and stupid. People should be careful with what they wish for.
All right, thank you. I am peer review. Let's start to close this up as quickly as possible. I think we've spoken enough. We've been here 4 hours, 30 minutes. ENGDK, is it Engineer DK? Go ahead.
Firstly, I want to disagree with peer review. We do not disturb businesses. We do not. Those who are called hired goons. People with rungus and Walilipa who go City Hall. Those are not ours. We are peaceful. We are very peaceful. We do not disturb anyone. And saying for us to go to Uhuru Park or whatever, we can go anywhere we want to demonstrate our democratic right. Now, Section 22 of the Constitution, it says every person has the right to institute court proceedings claiming that our right or fundamental freedom in the Bill of Rights has been denied, violated, or infringed, or is threatened. So that means if the people wanted the finance bill to be rejected, he has done it. If we don't believe Ruto is legitimate, he hasn't done his work. Just like the French government has resigned like 24 hours ago. So to answer, I think it was Mariam's question. That was my point to her. So we have the power to remove Ruto. We have the power to give him pressure. We have everything in our rights to remove him, and his whole government is collapsing. So what's the next point? So the next one, we need a leader, a youth who doesn't believe in tribe, but just believes in Kenya and loves the country, and is not corrupted, and and looks out for his people. So I'd like to repeat. There's going to be a petition today. Later on, I'll urge all of the youth. I'll be posting on my timeline. We come and we see what we can do, because it's going to be presented in Parliament. It's going to be a docket. So yeah, that's my submission. Thank you, Andrew.
All right. Thank you, Engineer DK or DK again. Before we get to hear from Tom Boyer, Stephen Morioki, what do you have to say?
Thank you so much, Andrew, KIBE, for being consistent and opening the space all the time. Don't give up. Thank us who have been able to go to the street and to demand for the rights. Gentlemen and ladies, I want to request that there are those grievances that we put in from the first day, and some of those grievances have been met. For example, the CAS position, he said he has removed the budgets for the first lady and the second lady, and he has even gone ahead to say some of the budget lines that are going to be cut. So I am asking, going forward, because now you have created more enemies, KIBE, the enemies that you started with have increased. And the ones that have increased is that some of those CAS that you have said even you don't want them to appear anywhere have become our enemies all of a sudden. So going forward, we need to know what are we agitating for and within the confines of the law. That's what I would ask, so that we don't lose more blood, because I know our president is also going to be fires enough. He's going to be breathing fire because they are seeing there is a lot of pressure. So we give him time. Counties need now to be reduced. I think this is the right time that which we had said from long time to long time that punguza mizigo. What we need to address our representation. They keep telling us, oh, we want to get to Singapore. I found out that congressmen in Singapore are paid 500,000. Our MPs earn a lot of money. In fact, if we attract people who earn $1 million in this country, you'll find there are so few of them. And those people who are earning from 8 to 5, and actually they're even on call, come even on a Sunday. So let's come up with points now of knowing what are we agitating for. We are waiting for the CS. We see the list. If the list does not please us, we have to go back, because we are not going to recycle politicians. And our problems actually start with the politicians and end with the politicians. Once they hijack our issues here and they start like for us, I tell you, we are doomed, because they are going to find a way to connive, and whatever we'll be agitating for is not what we are going to get. That's what I've found out with the politicians. Already, if you listened to one of them during Sundays and all that, they were talking about expanding cabinet. I think that's not what the Gen Zs and protests were about. It was about lean, efficient, and tainted people to deliver to the Kenyans. So, because I know there are many people who would want to speak, thank you, KIBE, for the opportunity. I thank you so much. Let's continue to engage. Let's continue to get ideas, so that those ideas, the quality ideas, get to the president, and we see a change in the country. When the country is working, it is better for us, all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephen Morioki, for a quick, straight to the point submission. I peer review. Why are you such a victim? I peer review tweets. It's you I'm talking to. Why are you such a victim?
No. Every time I don't know what's wrong. It seems my opinions sometimes are very factual,
No, stop,
and people
stop
don't.
thinking that your opinion is so radical that wherever you go, you have to keep apologizing for your opinion, like it is something that we've never had before. But to the point where when you finish making your submission, and now you have to go and you have to leave the speaker panel, you have to go out there and start saying, I knew that as soon as I make my submission, I'm going to be kicked out. That's some puny shit. Do not be puny, my guy, okay?
Okay.
I'm the one who removed you. You had made your submission. It was your time to leave. Why are you going to bitch out there like there's something that you have said that is so revolutionary? Make your submission again. We're here, so people can know that whatever it is you say, everybody is just shaking. Go ahead. Make the same submission you had made earlier.
Or there's somebody here. There's somebody who came back because I knew somebody will come back and try to challenge me, talking about the rights when it comes to demonstration. As you go to the streets, you have your rights, and also me, I have my rights. So why is it that your rights needs to stop mine? And also we have. The day we must be civil as a country when it comes to demonstrating. Do your demonstration, but don't affect my business. I on the other side, I should not interfere with your demonstration. So we be careful about this. That's exactly what I wanted to know. And also, these Kenyans are not coming from anywhere. We are picking from our Kenyans. And there is somebody who has come with an equipment that says this will be the perfect person. Andrew Kibe will be the perfect person. He's the same Kenyan, and we have always been voting for those people. So I am saying that for those who want to say Ruto must fix first the system. If it's the electoral system, it's not that they can fix that one. They can remove. We did away with the ECK. That is, but the whole country, to fix the whole country at once, that is impossible.
All right. Thank you. I peer review. McKenna, and then Kay Santino, you can jump in. I saw you put up your hand.
That guy that just spoken, I want to remind him that it's not the protesters that are making businesses close. Those people are peaceful until the police get in. So there's no any right that is being, violated. People are doing what is constitutionally right. Our constitution allows us to protest, picket, and demonstrate. So there is no law they are breaking, and there is no forbidden place to go. When they decide to go to the town, it's not because they want to go and rob businesses. It's because it's their right to do so. Until the police start throwing tear gas. You can see even in town, even before the businesses were open, the police were all over the streets. So don't come in here and tell us it's wrong to protest. It's not wrong. And we are not here to change ECK, IEBC into ECK or whatever it is. We're here to demand our rights. This thing would have ended with the reject finance bill until they started killing innocent protesters. And people are like, we are tired. This is a government that does not respect the rule of law. Why would you shoot and kill an armed innocent protester? So it's the government that is violating people's rights. It's not the people violating the government's rights. So just don't be biased. Come here with facts. Don't come here and condemn people for protesting. But anyway, Kibe, I was saying, before that guy ruined the mood, I was speaking before, but I got into a place where there was no connection. I was driving. Now, that suggestion you made about leadership, I do agree with it to some point, because the politicians or Ruto's government has realized has mastered the art of, divide and rule. And you can see that sometimes we get disrupted and start fighting amongst ourselves. So if we were speaking in one voice and we had a leadership that we follow, I think that would be a good thing. So because you've been advocating ideas on the table and see if you can form what we are looking for. How do we work together going forward to make sure that Atlanta is, oh, respect your elders, but we are not here to respect you. You know, what they are doing to our country, corruption and killing young people and all that, is worse than just disrespect. So we need to change. I saw this morning, I think yesterday, a young tweeting. In 1980, he was a university lecturer, and this guy is still in government. They are not, and probably after being a governor, he will go back and vie to become a senator. So these are old people that have no ideas. They have no new ideas. They've never realized that the world is changing and now we need to do things differently. All they are demanding for is young people should respect them. So I think we need to sweep, drain the swamp and whole new generation of leaders. We fight the system, and the system will not need one person. It will not need us divided. It will need us to unite and strategize and make sure that we are the system, and the system that is open and transparent to the people will be the best ideal, will be the ideal system for Kenya by 2027 latest. So call these people, Kibe, put them on a round table, and let's all speak in one voice. Thank you.
Thank you, McKenna. The voice of the people is supreme. My guy, the people have power. If the bro, this what we are seeing is just a glimpse of the power of the people through social media. What you're seeing right now is just a glimpse of that power, the power that can change. Imagine you can hound somebody out of social media. That's the power right now of the people. Now imagine if you translate that to real power on the ground. Woo! Thank you, McKenna. Appreciate that. Okay, Santino, you've been chilling for a minute. Go ahead. And then we can
I've been
have.
chilling. I want to talk about a lot of things that were said real quick. I know it's the end of the conversation, but I think what you said earlier, the house always wins, was on point. And I was going back also in reference to what Miriam said. She's saying that we got to try and maintain what's going on. I think it's like a think about like a device. It's broken. When it's broken, you don't try and fix it. You buy a new one. I think that's one thing. And if you want to put in perspective, imagine those people who are in power, they've been benefiting, they've been making great money and enjoying for a long time. So when they hear all this stuff, stop the financial bill, they hear all this stuff, these people must go. They're seeing that their what's it called, their cash cow is about to disappear, and they're willing to fight for that. That's what's basically been happening. And also, I'd like to also get a comment on the idea of you leading the Gen Z. I think you make a great leader, but there's many things we're not sure about the Gen Z in many ways. But the thing that we all know is they're willing to walk away from people who are leading. So if the Gen Z are willing to unite under your what's it called, if they all can come together and agree and agree on several things, that I think it could work, because I don't want there to be like a false, here are the keys to the castle, and when you go to the castle the keys don't work. I think right now, what you can do at the what you're already doing is like you're delegating, you're advising, and advise, being the great advisor is not a bad thing, because I don't want, because I don't like the idea of you becoming the leader, and then every day becomes it's all Kibe's fault Mondays, all Kibe's fault Tuesdays, all Kibe's fault every day of the week. It doesn't make any sense. If they're willing to unite and then to say, and then we move as a structure and it's a real thing, let's go for it. And yeah, I do believe the faceless and headless and tribalist thing is been going well for a while, but I think eventually it's got to materialize, or else it's just a show. And for all we know, the finance bill was just taken away. They're waiting for people to get tired of walking on the street, then they're gonna rebrand and bring it back. Who knows? But yeah, that's my submission. Back to you, man.
All right, thank you, K. Santino, our neighbor from the north. But K. Santino, you spent a lot of time in Kenya, right?
I was there 3 months ago. I was there before the floods.
I mean, you spent a lot of time in Kenya. Kenya is like your first home, isn't it?
Man, do you see how many number plates from South Sudan there are? There's so many number plates, it's crazy.
All right, okay, thank you, K. Santino, appreciate that. Nyadimo, are you there? Nyadimo edition.
Yes, I'm there, Mr. Kibe. Thank you very much for giving this. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. What I want to discuss today is, one, we are in a very delicate situation as a country. And I'll go by the fact that as a generation, and show the generation what is supposed to be done at this juncture. The Gen Z and millennium might be around 5 million, 10 million, but remember, 5 million or 10 million people cannot sit together and agree on something. They must be guided by someone or some people, at least to have a direction. I want to give you maybe 3 scenarios. We are saying, yes, Ruto must go. And that this question, which has been coming out for the last 1 week, what next after he's gone? Are we ready for Mr. Gashagwa? We say no, we're not ready for him. What next? Are we giving the Speaker of the National Assembly the mandate to act as the president for the next 60 days? Do you know a situation whereby the president is not there, the deputy president is not there, where our country might find itself in? We must find a process of midwifing this stage to a point at the end of the day, we still have a country to support. The National Assembly, we are all under our Supreme Constitution. But remember, as at now, we don't have a functional IEBC. For we to have a functional IEBC, these people must be vetted and approved by after the president and the deputies out and we're in chaos, then some people find opportunities of even sneaking in weapons so that we can fight amongst ourselves, and that we'll hear people coming out like, now we as a tribe, we want to we want our own country and such like things. It is time to reason, not with emotions. It is time to agree that the Gen Zs and the millennium, we've made a tremendous progress. And what is now important is to ensure that we identify a few people who will guide us through. 10 million people cannot guide themselves without a leader. Because that's why you see everyone comes in one way or the other is being booed. You are a traitor. You do what? Because there's no one who is there to guide the people. It's a good movement. But until we have some people to guide the think tanks who will tell us now what we think after the president has gone, this is what the constitution provides. Let's deal with this one first, this one second, and then have a long-term solution. Otherwise, everybody in this country wishes to have a greater country. Nobody is comfortable seeing what we are going through. But the truth is, we must have a mediation forward. Otherwise, we might overthrow the president. Yes, he might go with all the cabinet and the PSS and the members of parliament. Then what next? It's a delicate balance that must be midwifed in a proper way. Thank you very much, Mr. KIBE.
All right. Thank you, Nyadimo. Kadomi, are you here?
Yes, I am, KIBE. Thank you very much for this space and giving us an opportunity to put our heads together. And like all the speakers that have spoken, we are in a very delicate time, but we must appreciate that older people, we must take the blame of being comfortable with bad governance, corruption, and we were okay with it. Or maybe we were actually beneficiaries of inefficiency and bad governance. Now we're here, changes seem to happen. It's true, we are talking about Ruto must go. What's the way forward? The way forward, in my take, would not be people sort of appointed leadership. And I mentioned these things even in another forum that I was in. Is it possible to have tangible conversations lifted from social media to physical conversations like a people's conference, like where people come together, sit and discuss the way forward, like a face-to-face conversation, like a bunge la mwananchi, but expanded in a way. And every region is able to have this conversation, just like the counties. We are seeing the demonstrations hitting every part of the country. And when these demonstrations are happening, you realize, for example, like the Baringo people, they talked about the corruption in their county. They talked about the CECs, because every region has those unique problems. But on a national level, I accept we have to move forward, but how do we move forward? And right now, of course, there's a lot of clamor. Everyone wants the space. And there's nothing wrong if someone is anointed to be a leader, but also there's the risk of hijacking the entire process. And then we lose the benefits of this process. I wish as the movement progresses, because already vijana walisema, they don't want to go to State House, they don't want to go and have conversations because they don't see any fruition that side of the conversations. But can we sit together? Can we go to KICC? Can we go to Huru? Can we go somewhere? Like, can we sit and what's the way forward? Yes, the IEBC bill has been signed. Is anyone discussing the time frame of having a working commission? Do we know what happens when? Where are the legal minds to carry us through that? When we say Ruto must go, let's assume he goes. Who is the caretaker of the presidency? How many months would it take to an election? Let's look at every scenario. I think people are in a situation whereby they do not still believe that anything can happen where we are. All the issues that we've raised, we know that people have not been receiving their IDs like in the last 6 months. People apply IDs, they don't get. We know the inefficiencies. We know the health sector is not working. We know what is happening with the Higher Education Board. We know even that the guys who are supposed to report to the university, some of them cannot report because they don't even have the IDs, they have waiting cards. But then, what's the way forward? What's the way forward? Because if you ask me for the last 2 years, that is actually this administration is not yet even 2 years. All this damage you're seeing until now is a damage of 1 year, 11 months. Next month is going to be the 2 years of this administration. I'm not saying the previous administration was any better, but I would say the previous administration was sort of good in putting their shit together. This one is completely not able to put their work together. We would accept legal minds coming together. We would accept more experienced people. I'm not talking about old people, experienced people in governance, in public administration, coming together and enlightening the youths. If you watch what the Gen Zs were talking yesterday on Citizen, I accept. These kids are excited, they're taking, I support them, but evidently they do not have the knowledge. They do not have the knowledge that is needed. How can we harness this energy, carry it to the next level without losing the intentions of this movement? You know, and I think that's all I have to say, KIBE. Thank you very much.
Harness the energy without losing the intention of the movement. That's a very, very well put together statement. Yeah, I made a reference the other day. I said, Gen Z are like the electricity. That electricity is very powerful, but it has to be harnessed somewhere. It has to be put to good use. We must put sockets for it to make sense. Otherwise, electricity by itself is just dangerous. You even have to put like barriers. Don't go there. That electricity has not been harnessed. It's powerful, yes. You can do a lot with it, but as long as nobody has taken it and put it into proper use, then it means nothing. So yeah, thank you, Kanomi. That's a very nice way of putting it. Good thoughts. Good thoughts. We have the brains. We just need to have the up and go. Just the get up and go kind of thing. Tomboy, what do you want to say before we bring in Luvicia?
Well, thank you. I'm happy I'm speaking just after some concern has been raised, which I really, my submission will also be answering that. I agree that at this time we really need to be more organized, just as I had said. And I'm happy with the personality of KIBE because he's someone whose understanding of the African culture really will get in sync with the perception of the majority Gen Zs. The understanding of African spirituality. Let me stroke that to religion. And also a person who can be able to bring us together as we purpose to organize ourselves should be someone with good integrity, a person of high emotional intelligence, someone who, even if you differ in opinion, they will still be there to listen to you without necessarily dropping their main vision. So I'm really supporting that. We need to get people on board, and I'm giving KIBE a deal, just as was suggested there. Pick it up. Go into inboxes of these people. They are as many as possible. You can have even over 100 people on board, and then we carry on the mantle. Like I talked of a handbook I wrote, we should consider maybe with the team, for example, that you can bring on board, you can come up with what we call a policy paper. After the policy paper will outline where are we coming from and where are we going. We are in agreement that we need a total overhaul of the system, all documented. A time reaches whereby we continue educating people on what is on the policy paper, and we follow it with actions. At the end of the day, we will achieve something. I'm answering one question, then I drop. The question that you asked me, that are you really coming up with a shadow government? I want to answer that with what is the objective of our coming together, even if Mr. KIBE suggested that he can take up the mantle and lead us towards a particular direction. Our objectives are based on what I've really collected from very many different opinions, just running through it. I believe that we collectively and unanimously aim to exercise our sovereign power as articulated in the Constitution. I also believe that for us to achieve that, we need to continuously mobilize protesters and keep and so that we engage actively and respond to the need to protest. Then I also believe that we need to sustain the pressure to the political class so that the environment become hostile. Our language. We need to recall our members of parliament. So what next? Another objective.
Tom Boyer. So you see, all these objectives he's talking about are the ones that are supposed to be decided by this group of people who come together and say, okay, these are the 5, 6, 7 objectives that we have. And these are what we're going to be pushing for the month of August. Hold up, Tom Boyer. Fix your life first, bro. Your network is horrible.
Wow. Well, I'm waiting.
All right, just mute your mic for a second, yeah. Your network doesn't seem to want to work today. I don't know what's good. Femi, start to close it up. Give me your final submission.
My final submission is one is actually
for me, there's a button you press there. No. Go to voice. Yeah, go to the bottom. I mean, are you seeing where? Hey, how do we fix your life? You go to there's a button there that looks like fireworks. Press that button there, and then go to voice, and then fix that and come back. As we wait for me to fix that, Luvicia, go ahead.
Thank you, KIBE. So, nimekuwa nikisikiliza the previous speakers. Of course, yeah, they are really sharing the very good news and also trying to come up with ideas on how we can move forward. So, ningependa address a few things. The first one ni kwamba lazima to work on easy objective zenye tunaweza achieve within a certain time frame. For example, sasa tukipush we need to recall MPs, yet hatuna IBC in place. IBC inafaa ikuwe parliament and president wana participate kwa reconstitution kwa ya hiyo IBC. Then it means tunafanya.
So I felt the first thing to recall, lazima mtafute signatures. Na wewe kama unakaa Nairobi, you don't vote for your hauko registered kwa certain constituency, huwezi enda ukarecall that MP. It means now lazima ukuwe a registered member kwa ile constituency. So there are a lot of things tunaweza fanya. So ukienda kwa mambo na recalling MPs, itafika 2027 still hiyo process itakuwa ime go through. So there are other things zenye now when we have a certain framework of operations, tutaangalia ideas ama zile suggestion everyone is bringing on board, we go through them, then tunaangalia zenye ziko achievable. Unaona, lakini tukikimbia tu bora idea imetokea and then we follow that, then tutafika mahali tunafika tunagonga ukuta, tunarudi huko tunagonga ukuta, zile zingine tumedrop, morali ya watu imeanza kushuka, because ukiangalia how people now are behaving nowadays, utapata kwamba now people are chasing their personal interest. Unapata ile mambo ya kureject finance bill, everybody was on board. Automatically after 2 days ikafika Ruto must go. Ukapata watu wengine waka backseat. Unaona au kuingia kwa ile motion. So unapata ideas na keep on changing. Na sasa the more watu wengine wanakuwa kwamba hawako among the au mobilize watu vizuri kuona kwamba hivi kitu tuna fight kinatusaidia sisi wote, then majority of people will start dropping, and that's how the political class is going to win. Ukiangalia the opposition on the other side hawako wanaingiana vizuri, but when movement iliingia ulipata they joined together, they are right now in one basket, despite the fact ukiona kina Sifuna wana dance wakitoka huko wana dance wanaanza kusema we don't want handshake, already ishafanyika, so wako tu huku nje to fake, but deep down they know what is happening. Ukiona kina Oparanya kina Joe wanaanza unakuwa na msuko mambo na handshake between the ODM and the rest, unajua kwamba the next years watakuwa ndani. So inamaanisha kwamba now with us as the citizen we need to unite on ideas na tukua with pure motive. Umejua sasa the problem is kuna watu wana push Ruto must to go, na wajui what will happen after that, na kuna wanasahau kwamba kuna watu walikuwa pro Ruto despite kwamba kuna limitation. So kuna watu wana fight corruption and other things that are happening in the government, they are not targeting people. Na kuna watu the rest wana fight people instead of fighting the institutions zenye na zile vitu zinafanyika institutions. So from that point unapata kwamba we are not moving on the same lane. So it means we need a framework of operations whereby people have to analyze like you analyze what we are going for, then we move as a unit and we make sure that whatever we are going for benefit everyone. For example, mtu amention mambo na IDs. For sure, hii mambo ya kusema ID na expire, unalipia almost 1,000 kupata a new to renew ID kama umepoteza. Those are things everyone affects everyone. So if you go for that, then 2 days itakuwa tumeachieve, watatupilia hizo vitu mbali. Then you move into the next thing. Move on to the next thing. So before tufika ile ya now the Ruto must go, then tutakuwa tumeachieve a lot of things before tufika to that step. So upon Gen Z to sit down and try to listen and go for things that can be achievable within a certain time frame, na zenye zinakuwa logic. Because vitu zingine unapata mtu anashare pako unashtuka, what does the constitution say about this? Then lastly we issue na hiyo kuna good
Luvis, we're losing you, man.
Sorry, am I there?
Ambia wao mademo acha kupigia simu bro. Ambia uko serious saa hii, you're busy building the nation.
Nimekata hiyo nini yao, simu yao.
Basi malizia.
Okay. So nilikuwa namalizia na kusema kwamba kuna watu saa hii among the Gen Z kazi yao ni kuiba. Hata sasa tunadanganya tu ni goons, nini. They're among us. Motive yao ni kuibia watu, which is not good, because ukienda kuiba supermarket, kuna Gen Z wenye walikuwa employed kwa hiyo supermarket. You see a politician, huyo mtu ataenda chini hivyo, hatapata pesa ya kuanzisha tena. You have killed the dreams of many people kwa kuiba pale. So within us, as long as tuna demonstrate, but pia tukue na tukiona watu wanaanza destroy other people's properties, we have to take care of them. Ndio hii movement iendelee, lakini kitafika mahali we create enemies within ourselves. Kwa mfano utapata sasa watu wanaanza protect their businesses, certain section wanaanza kusema sisi hatutaki because of destruction and other things. Yeah, thank you for this opportunity, Kibe.
Thank you, Luvisia. You know what happens? The problem we are having right now is this prolonged fight. A fight should not last that long. So this prolonged fight brings a lot of fatigue. So unasikia umechoka because una fight the same thing over and over again. Hizi ni vitu tungefaa kufanya na wiki moja na ishe na to move on. Na sasa mwenye ameshinda, mwenye ame-lose. Nothing KE, what do you have to say? Thank you, Luvisia.
Hi, Kibe. Thank you for the opportunity. I'd like to condole with the families of those we have lost and the injured, and I pray that we do not forget them. Now, allow me to address a couple of issues. I think we are focusing on what's happening in the country, and we are not addressing who is behind, who's pulling the string on the things that we are experiencing as a nation. I'm going to drop a link for you guys to watch a documentary narrated by former IMF and World Bank chiefs and an economic assassin, saying how they interfere with other countries. And when you watch that, then we should turn our guns to like embassy. We put pressure on them so that IMF can back down. On the issue of we need to have a bigger meeting, I don't think it's conceivable right now. It will require resources. I think technology has evolved to allow us to have this kind of engagement. And so if we're going to have a meeting, that meeting can happen and people can join in from across the world. Another thing I've noticed is that sometimes we give opportunity, because I've listened to a lot of spaces, we give opportunity to probably people who are already known, and you're already missing ideas, had their names before, you don't know where they're coming from, but they hold a puzzle on where we need to go. So I would request, when you hold the spaces, if you can kindly, fairly give an opportunity to people you don't know. And then something else, Gen Zs are very vibrant, they are driven, and they have ideas. They just don't have, and they have the staying power. They just don't have the time to engage in a conversation that's heading nowhere. It's very clear in their mind what they want. I'm a student at USIU, and they've been fundraising. They're very vocal on what we
are you a Gen Z?
Myself, yes. So, like you've seen, my handle is called Nothing KE. It's actually a company I registered called Nothing Life Nation. Because when you ask a lot of people, what are you doing? They'll tell you nothing. And I said, we need to turn this nothing into something. I've written to embassies. That's how come I realized, by the way, we are on our own. A lot of people are not here to help us. They are here to benefit themselves. Then there's the other issue of the Constitution. I don't know why people keep defending the Constitution. Again, I'll drop a link for you to watch what Magufuli explained about how this Constitution, we only understand the human right aspect of it, but we do not know that they actually use the same Constitution to control the continent. And this was said because they said the Constitution does not allow the government to do business with itself. And I don't want to dwell on that because I want to address something that was highlighted and we've been discussing about IEBC. It's alleged, and I need the lawyers to come through for us by explaining whether these are factual, that part of what we are going to use our polling station are movable vehicles. And I think that is very dangerous. So we need to hone into that, figure out, is this true on what was signed? And if indeed it's true, we need first to reverse that. On the issue of civil education, we need to ensure that people do not sit back and continue making this noise.
Wait. Nothing. Nothing. Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to the whole community because this is a collective issue. It's no longer about one person. So we are always as strong as our weakest.
You see what I'm trying to avoid, and this has been my whole crusade is for us just to talk into the darkness where there's no one who's listening, no one who's doing anything about it, because all that talking means nothing. Because everyone is going to come here with ideas, and everybody wants something changed. Some people want IEBC, others want City Hall, the counties changed. Everybody wants something. So what I don't want is us to get caught up in the also making those demands that you're not making those demands to me. You get. So who's taking responsibility of the demands that we are all making? It's too much. I'm so fatigued of hearing all these things that need to be changed. While I'm looking for people to change them with, I'm like, hey, who wants to change this shit up with me? Who's that person who's going to take up the mantle and let's go and change this shit up? I don't want to hear about what needs to be changed. I want someone who's passionate enough about whatever it is they're talking about, and they're willing to die for it. Then now we can have this changed. These are the people I want around here. Because for the people who want to come and give us instructions, I have no business with those people. Because I don't want to be given instructions by anyone. I also have my own mandate. I also have things that I want to do for myself. So, nothing KE. I get where you're coming from. Let's put action behind your words. Now, go out of your own body and give us action behind what you're saying. How does that look like?
Okay, first of all, I think you're doing a good job hosting the spaces. What we need to do, first of all, is the civil education. People need to collect ideas that have not been collected. Number two, we need to agitate for this issue of we are Kenyans by birth, even if it's by naturalization. Nobody should ever pay for an ID, whether you lost it or not. That is your birthright. So we need to agitate for such things. We need also to address on the issue of this IEBC. Is it true, and we have a lawyer here, is it true that they said there's a clause that says that some of the polling station will be a vessel? If it is, we need that clause changed when we still have the time. Of paralyzing fear that, if this government vacate, we are going to go to destroy this nation. We're not looking to run away. We have nowhere to run away. Countries around us. Not people you can mess around with. We're here to stand up for ourselves. We are saying no to the big boys who control the world. On an issue of leadership, I think it is very volatile right now to pick leaders. I think it's powerful as a leaderless movement for a myriad of reasons. Then there were people who started, the people who went with the 7 days of rage, the 7 days of justice. Those were the people who were carrying the mandate. Those are the people who were leading. Because from where it is, there's a bit of fragmentation, but then the result is still the same. We need change for our nation. I thank you for your time. and I hope we can agree on something. We continue just exploring what is available, what are the options available, and I'm sure we'll do the right thing for the nation, I think. And I yield my time. Thanks, Kibe.
Thank you. Nothing, KE. Appreciate that. Thank you for coming through. Gadomi, do you want to have your final submission?
Thank you, Kibe. A quick one. I know we have great minds on this forum, and I just want to carry people through a quick thought process. We are complaining about a lot of things. We have institutions in this country, but our institution essentially take commands from politicians. A president is a politician, the CSs are politicians, the PSs are appointees of politicians. What would be wrong if we have, let's for example talk about the EACC. Who heads the EACC? If that kind of a person is brought to book, and the EACC people would tell us, why is the EACC not working? If we would bring the person who heads registration in the country, and they tell us why people don't have IDs. These are existing institutions. Let's not talk about parliament, because it's like we've lost faith in our politicians. Let's look at institutions, direct institutions. These are people, experts, employed by the government, paid to run institutions. Could we go on those institutions? Let's talk about the police. Most of the time, and what we know in this country, police, they take commands from politicians, or I would say a political hierarchy. But a police and its entire leadership is professional, trained policemen. Could this police talk to the people, delinking themselves from their political appointees, and tell us why shooting people, yet the Constitution does not allow them to do so? So actually our disconnect in this all the institutions in this country, KIBE, do not work for the people. They work for the political class. The Kenyans, and the voice of the Kenyans right now is the Gen institutions put to book and accountable for the failures that we see. If passports cannot come from Nyayo House, who is in charge? Who is employed to do this job without linking them to the politics of the country? Thank you.
All right, Gadomi, $1 million question. The $1 million question, because all we are saying, all what you're saying, working again. You need an A team. That you have been unable to fix, so that the population can have a chance. Right now, Kenya does not stand a chance. You don't stand a chance as an entrepreneur. How? Whatever idea you have, somebody is just going to go pick from the bucket of money that is Kenyan taxpayers' money and come and open a business right next to yours, 10 times the size of yours. How do you stand a chance? How do you stand a chance to even do business, even for tendering? How do you stand a chance to even work with the government, even the county government? If everybody in the county government is corrupt, there must be so much fear in corruption. People must be afraid of that word corruption so much that the playing field is fair for everyone. So what you need is an A team. If George was here, would go 21 ministries are too many. For what? This country only needs 5. You reduce that number to 5. You say, hey, we don't need to have nominated anybody and too many constituencies. Bro, that A team is what you want, but you cannot get it because the system cannot allow you to have that. As I told you, if hii kitu is simple, either muingie kwa system ama mcreate system yenyu. Simple, hakuna njia ingine. Na kama nataka kuingia kwa system, haya, you need to organize yourself in one clean file, come up with party policies and party positions, go into the election bigly. Do not delude yourself. If that's what you want, if you want power, you better go for power through this power. Never. Humphrey, what do you want to say?
Okay, can you hear me?
Perfectly. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm driving, but I'll just say this. How to achieve. And all the guys influence we put it in a website, then we put it on a vote. We decide which is the most burning issue, we attack it. Lastly, I would like to say that, like yesterday, I went to buy something in a chemist. Then a lady was there talking about, sasa vijana wanataka nini? People don't know why people are fighting. We need to have an agenda. If it's the IBC, if it's the IDs, let's conquer one by one. Things people can relate to. Instead of just saying accountability, we are fighting for accountability. People in the ground don't know about that. They're just yeye anataka chakula yake ya jioni. But we need to have a way of portraying our problems to the other community players, like our mothers, the border guy. Even the border guys are looking at us and wondering, watu wanapigania nini? But if we tell them, hii mwezi tunapigania IDs, atupoi to convert your Twitter space to a summary. So after every Twitter space, you can summarize the issues. Then from there, we can create a site. Amateki, I can do that. We on the issues on Twitter. Like, hey, this is what people are saying. Can for me, I thought it was emotional. Moment you make a decision, like some people somewhere just make a decision, then they think that is the Gen Z decision. Then we are wrong. We are lost. So for me, it's just to summarize. Let's have a centralized place where we can put our thoughts. Then from that, we come up with a plan. Even a house, you need a plan. Whatever we want, Ruto must go. We need a plan. We can't. At this point, we need plans. Now, for me, I would like to just say, in that plan, we'll also have strategies in the plan somewhere centralized, so that even someone in Nyeri will go to that site and say, hey, this is what we are fighting for. They get energized. They see things. I know a lady there who was talking about the IDs. I've been listening to her for some time, and how the election was stolen. Things like that. People need to know. The information needs to be posted somewhere, and I think I'm willing to do it, actually. But for you, Kibe, I'd like to give you this idea. You summarize your space. I can give you the idea, so that we have somewhere we can collaborate on similar ideas and vote for them. I think that's all.
All right. Thank you, Humphrey, for that suggestion. Yeah, I am looking for people who are going to do. If you're a doer, any new ideas, any new technologies, as long as you are the one who is taking charge. You say, Humphrey, I am taking charge of this, and I'm going to make sure that consistently and dedicatedly, I'm going to do this. If you can take that, then we're good. Are you willing to take that responsibility, Humphrey?
Yeah, actually, for me, I'm planning to come up with a site. The site is all about the movement, our plans.
No. I get what you're saying. I'm just saying it has to be somebody who takes it up. Whatever it is we decide, if you are the one who's taking up, they implement it. So that now, once we are done with this, and if you've done a good job, then the next time you get a bigger job. You're the one who's going to lead this. Yeah. So take it up upon yourself, Humphrey, because you have a good idea and you're in tech. So you come up, summarize summarize whatever it is everybody is saying on all spaces. We put that in one portal, and then it's easy. We can vote on anything. It will take us seconds to vote.
Yeah.
I mean, Estonia have been doing this for the longest time. You know that.
Yeah, actually, there's one thing I saw Kimuzi doing. Even you have seen you do it. They after a Twitter space, he asked the Gen Z, the millennials, what shall we do? What next? People voted, and that was the way. But now, due to emotions, we are not doing it right. And also, I'd like to tell the team, we need to do research on leaderless movements where they failed. Just go to ChatGPT. Look. Strategic planners at some point who now they obviously they can be faceless, but the ones who play the big part. Per se, you are one of them and you don't know. Like I'm saying, after each space, try to summarize and share to the group as a PDF. Then you see it will just grow. The ideas will just grow, because for me, people just come to the spaces, they talk, then they go. It's over. It's done. People have great ideas. I've been listening to all these spaces. I'm learning a lot, but we really need to come up with a centralized thing and recordings that are summarized using AI. I'll send you a link if you're interested, so that every time you just put your space there, it summarizes everything. All those ideas are not lost, because I think the ideas are all lost. And secondly, a way to vote. Like you in your Twitter space, you'll get 3 burning issues. Ask people, what is this? What are you going to do about this? You'll just get a feeling. Many people want the IDs. Many people want IBC. Such a thing. About the IBC thing, I'm not a lawyer, but I know once we have a centralized thing, we can challenge the lawyers to come up with their proposals. Yeah, I think that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Humphrey. Sir Ken, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Now, first of all, thank you very much for the space and for the opportunity. I would also want to register my deepest condolences to the family families and relatives of the heroes and heroines that we lost through the demonstrations and the butchering that we saw in Nakuru kwa Jenga. Now, to the topic of the day. I have been listening to great speakers in here, and I have a feeling that there is a small bit in which we are missing out on what should be the next course of action for us. If you look at world over, the revolution that we've had, because now it's okay calling this a revolution. Most of them, and especially those that have been successful, they have either taken a definite route or they have been as leaderless as this is. I think that we have 2 routes to take with our demonstrations. The first route is either we go the constitutional way. The second is we going the revolution way, in which we are going to say the constitution is here to serve us and not us serving the constitution. So if it is not working, especially the way we have seen it